10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Darkness shaking, faith is rising. We know, and the heartbeat racing. Living in your freedom, and joy overflowing. We know, and we know. And our hope forever is the name of Jesus. We are free and you are with us. The church is alive.
Well, how is everybody today? Pretty excited about this new series that we're starting today. It's a 3-week series, so if you're a first-time guest with us, just go ahead and plan on being with us for the next 3 weeks because we're going to take a journey together and really understand how to take some of the information that most of us already have and apply it to life. One more time, everybody welcome. Everyone logged in through iCampus. We love you guys wherever you're at. Thank you so much for being with us today. Everybody look at their neighbor and say, "Come on, man." And that's a phrase that we use when somebody does something dumb, right? How many of you in here ever done anything dumb? Okay, I have to, not everybody raised their hand, so I know you're thinking, well, that's not very nice. But it's very true, right? Okay, so I want to see if I can lay a foundation so that when I use the word dumb several times today in this conversation for the next 3 weeks, you're not offended. And let me just say this. Look at your neighbor that you came with and say, he will offend you in the next 3 weeks. Okay, so we're going to cover that reality here in just a second, but it's true. How many of you know that ignorance is not bad? Somebody said not good. Here's why I want to tell you that. If somebody looks at me or you and says, you are so ignorant, some of you will be like, hold up, you can't talk to me like that. Now, here's what I want you to understand they're saying. They're just saying you don't have the necessary information to make a wise decision. Here's what that means. I didn't know. How many of you have teenagers? Have you ever asked them, why did you do that? And they went, I don't know. And you could swear that they had or have the information necessary to make that decision, but clearly they don't, right? Because we understand as teenagers, there's parts of their brains not connected and they can't really make. How many of you as a teenager make really smart decisions all the time when you were a teenager? No, but put your hand down. We'll be on lying next week, so don't worry about it. Okay, so like it's just a part of life. And here's why people in their teens, people in their 20s, people in their 30s, people in their 40s make bad decisions. A lot of the times, it's because of ignorance, okay? And if you make a decision out of ignorance, here's what it is. I just didn't know. I didn't have that information, so I made an unwise choice because I didn't have the information to make a wise choice. Here's what you get on that, a pass. Nobody holds that against you. Nobody goes, that's so dumb. You're an idiot. No, because you didn't have the information, therefore you made an unwise decision. So I want you to understand that ignorance is, I just didn't have it, therefore I get a pass. Nobody's really concerned about that because you're learning. Now, how many of you know that once you get the information, you've been through the experience, and you have the information to make a wise decision, and we say things like this, you knew better. How many of you have children? And they did something you told them not to do. And you're about to whoop them. How many of you have ever done that? Don't raise your hand. Okay, so somebody might call you. Anyway, so, and you're about to impose punishment or correction or love. Whatever makes you feel better about putting your kid in the corner for 2 hours, we'll just call it that. Okay, so time out. Good. I never got time. I wish I could have went while I was getting beat. Okay, so anyway. Hold up, Daddy. All right, so how many of you ever looked at them and they said, what am I in trouble for? And you went, because you knew better. How many of you ever said that to your kid? Because you knew better. You shouldn't have done that because I told you. I told you last week, don't do that. Matter of fact, I told you 5 minutes ago, don't do that. And you did it anyway. You knew better. Okay, now here's what you need to understand that is. If you have the necessary information and experience not to make that choice, and you make it, here's what I want everybody to understand. That's dumb. How many of you know that? Now y'all all look at me sideways. You're like, well, that's not nice. And you lean over to your first time guest, you go, he's really a nice person. I don't know why he keeps saying dumb. This is really an encouraging place. And it is. It absolutely is. But let's just, like we're all adults in here, let's just be real. How many of you done dumb stuff? You had the information to make a wise choice, and you chose not to. Have you ever drink and drive? Okay, so how many of you know that's dumb? Let's just be honest. You shouldn't do that because you can hurt somebody or yourself. So that would be dumb. And most of the time, and listen, here's what I'm not saying. Let me just help you. I'm not saying I'm super intelligent and all wise and you're dumb. Here's what I'm saying. I'm dumb and you're dumb. So let's limit our dumbness in life, because here's what we all want to do. We all want to achieve some level of greatness. We've come to this church because we say here, we want you to experience life and live it to the fullest. Guess what you're not going to do if you keep doing dumb stuff? Live life to the fullest. You're going to keep making the dumb mistakes that you made last year, that you did yesterday. So this entire series is about that. That when I just want you to hear, when you do something dumb, next week, I want you to hear the Holy Spirit say to you, come on, man. Have you ever looked at your buddy, did something dumb, you went, come on, bro. You know better. You shouldn't even, why did you go out with her? You know how she treated you? How many know somebody went out with somebody that was a dumb decision? How many of y'all went out with somebody? Dumb decision. Okay, so like we make them. So this entire series is about closing down the gap of dumbness in our life to be very small. And listen, this is not necessarily about, let me give you some information you didn't have. This is about reviewing information we already know. Because here's what's true in all of our lives. We know more than we practice. If you didn't learn another thing the rest of your life, and you just did what you know to do, think about how awesome your life would be. Like if you just took the information you got now, and some of you in here, I see some 7th graders. Look here. Put your 7th grade eyes on me. If you just took your 7th grade education and did what your parents have told you, your teachers have told you, and what you've learned so far, you'd be awesome. Because there's a bunch of 40-year-olds that act like 5th graders. Because they stop, I'm going to stay right here at 5th grade. 5th grade. Some 50-year-olds stopped at about 21 and just said, I'm good right here. They 50 making 21 dumb decisions. Like it's amazing. And listen, this is not, you're dumb, I'm smart. This is, I do dumb stuff, you do dumb stuff. Let's stop the dumbness. Let's just put into practical practice what we typically already know. So this is a 3-week journey. Because why do we do 3 weeks? Because I don't think we can stand 6 weeks of this. I just think we'd be like, you know what, I ain't going next week. He's already telling me stuff I already know and I don't do, so I'm just not even going. Right? So this week we're going to talk about how important it is to stay connected to a church. Now some of you go, well, yeah, I knew that. No, this is a whole series. Nothing I'm saying you're going to go, I didn't know that. You're going to be like, I knew that. But yet we all disconnect from a church and we know we shouldn't and we know what happens to us when we do. Next week we're going to talk about lying. Now how many of you know you're not supposed to lie? Raise your hand. Because here's what you do. You teach your kids not to lie, but then as adults, how many times do we demonstrate a life of lying while we're telling our kids, don't lie? Let me give you an example before we even get to next week. They're late. They stayed home from school and you let them and you wrote a note said their allergies were bothering them and they had an allergy problem all year. How many of y'all ever done that? Somebody's covering their face like, oh, snap. He must have got the note. Like, okay, so it's true. Like we make up excuses. How many of you ever exaggerate? That's called a lie. Just so you know, if you're a fisherman, you're a professional liar. That's what you are. Okay, so we're going to deal with lie and the dangers of it, and then some of you already planning your vacation early. Like, I ain't gonna be here next week. Because I know, here's what you're saying. I already know that. I'm not supposed to lie. Why am I coming to hear about how I'm not supposed to lie? Because we justify it as adults. We teach kids not to, and as adults we go, oh, it's okay to lie if you're 40 and you made $100,000 a year. You got to lie on your taxes because that puts you over here, and that's fine. And I'm a doctor, and if I lie on insurance, claims, that's cool because they're lying to me anyway, and we justify lying. And we don't realize the damage it's doing to us and the people around us. So please come back next week. It's going to be awesome, I promise. Then the third week, final, last conversation is going to be this: taking responsibility for our own decisions. Ooh, come on now. You might say amen. You might even want to take a hallelujah on that one. Yeah, because I'm just telling you, too many people play victim instead of taking responsibility for the decision they made. Here's what we say: well, I want to know whose fault it is. It don't matter. Whose responsibility is it? Because if you constantly say in life, well, it's not my fault, it was their fault, you're going to stay living by default and not design. Yeah. So join me in week 3. We're going to get free up in here. But we're going to begin today about why should we stay connected to the local body. Because here's what I want you to understand first and foremost. If you're a born-again believer in Christ, you cannot be separated from the worldwide church. What does that mean? That is God's children worldwide. But you can make the decision to walk away from the local body that brings you life, that you're connected to, which for all of you in here, as of right now today, is Epic Church. Some of you are making a decision whether or not you want to connect. Some of you have made that decision. But we're going to look at some dumb reasons why people leave church. Now, when I give you these dumb reasons, it does not mean that there are not legitimate reasons that somebody or you should leave a church. Some of you made legitimate reasons why you left the last church that you were at or why you didn't go. So I am in no way saying you should never leave. What I am saying is there's absolutely some dumb reasons. So we're going to begin with the series verse, Proverbs 19:3. This is probably my favorite verse of Scripture. It says this: people ruin their lives by their own foolishness and then are angry with God. Have you ever done something dumb and got mad at God because of the circumstances you were in? Have you ever done it? Now raise your hand if you ever done that. Done something dumb, made a foolish decision, unwise decision, went through something bad and blamed God. God, I can't believe, why did, whatever it was for you. How many of you ever thought, I got to pray the devil down. This is spiritual warfare. Look, you just did something dumb. Devil not attacking you. Right? And people do this all the time. Well, I don't know why, devil, I ain't got no money in my account. Devil and the locust and the cank, whatever it is, scripture you try to quote, is coming to steal my barns. No, you overspending. It's called math. Amen. I don't know why I can't lose no weight. Put the Twinkie down. Put the chicken down. Put the gravy down. Stop blaming God. Stop metabolism. Ain't nothing wrong with your metabolism. It'll go up if you run a mile, I promise. It's burning more than you take in. So everybody gets it practically in life. Like this, I'm telling you, I'm not going to tell you anything you don't know. This is not about let me help you come out of ignorance. This is help me remind you of some things and myself of some things I already know. And when I choose not to do what I already know, it just makes me dumb. I just like to not be dumb no more. I'm in my 40s and I just don't have a lot of time to keep making the same dumb mistakes I've been making all my life. So if you're in here and you're under 40, this is great for you. You get to get a head start on all of us dumb old people. I mean, you're still 40-something and you go, why did I do that? We're going to try to narrow that gap because Proverbs, and we're going to be in Proverbs these whole 3 weeks, is literally saying, listen, don't make dumb decisions and get mad at God. Make really intelligent, informed ones. And when people walk away from church for the reasons I'm about to give you, this is just not very smart. Because I don't think we understand the damage that we do to ourselves and God's kingdom when we walk away from his house. And listen, it's very easy to do, especially in our culture, because there's a church every 3 miles, and we get reason after reason, and we make up these reasons. So I'm just going to give you Now, here's what you're going to say. Ivy came up with some dumb reasons. No. This is a study done in the church world as to why people leave churches, and even people smarter than me label these as dumb reasons to leave church. They don't even call it ignorant reasons. They actually do call it dumb reason. And the first one and the number one, and I've even heard it here, is this. People leave churches for this reason. The church is too big. This is what they say. Church too big. Church just, they running like 40,000. And I just don't feel like here's what that boils down to, and the study will say this. They will blame that the church doesn't teach anything of depth. It's very, very shallow. Now, let me just say this. If I taught the same 7 verses for 2 years, how many of you know we couldn't practically apply them to our lives? Nobody raised their hand. Let me prove it to you. Love people as yourself. Love God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. How many of you got that one down solid? Yeah. Okay. So let's just go ahead and say that's really not a valid thing, because if you teach Scripture, it'll go as deep as you want to go any given time. So that's not really. And then they say this. Well, it's just so big. I don't really feel like I can be connected. Well, here's what that and the study says. Here's what that usually means. The person didn't do their part to connect on a serving team, or didn't get connected in a small group. They came to a Sunday morning gathering of 1,000 or more people, and they felt like they got lost in the mix. We say this all the time here at Epic. If you don't connect to a serving team or get in a small group, you will get lost in the bigness of the church. But this church is designed to grow smaller as it grows bigger. But whose responsibility is it to take that step? Everybody say me. So that's not really a valid reason. The church is too big. What we do is we make excuses inside that reason. The next one is this. The church focuses too much on excellence. What does that mean? That means typically the study says, well, I wanted to be a greeter and they wouldn't let me. Well, it's probably because your personality didn't lend itself to stand on the front door and greet people. And at our church, we care about the people that are coming, and we care about you. We want to place you in the place that you will serve best. Or they say, well, they spent a lot of money on, and I'm just using this for an example, on lights and stuff. And I think, we don't really need lights. Well, if these lights help communicate the gospel and create an environment where people feel comfortable in an excellent way, then that's what we're going to do. So when people start to say that, what it is they are looking for something. They're looking for some reason to disconnect from there, and they know they don't have a valid one. So they start making ones up. Everybody say dumb. The third one, I love this one. Well, I was going down there to that church, but I got offended. Let me help you. I have never done life with people that I hadn't got offended. I'm on, how many of y'all related to somebody? Raise your hand. Related to some, you got family members, do y'all have that aunt or that uncle that always says something at the gathering, you're like, why you say that? And they just totally offend you. They say stuff. Let me ask you still related? Do you still go see them? And you go, I don't know why, but yeah, I even invite them over every now and then. Pray up and fast and anoint the house with oil, but I ask them to come over. I don't even know why. Okay, so here's the deal. Because you're family. And what we forget is you're a part of the family of God. And Uncle Dan's going to offend you at some point. I'm just going to tell you. Daddy IV's going to make you mad because you're going to come to my office and need some counsel. I'm going to go, stop. Have a nice day. See you. All right, so, no, I need you to hear my heart. No, stop. Okay, and then just what's going to happen? You go, he was so mean. No, I'm trying to help. You came ask me for advice. My advice was stop. I mean, think about it. If you smash your head in a brick wall and you go, that hurts when I do that, stop. What do you want me to do? Stand in front of it for you? Stop. Okay, so we look, it's like Christians wake up just wanting to be offended. And listen, there's nowhere in the Bible, in Scripture, that God gives us the right to walk away from his house because we were offended. He actually says, if your brother offends you before you come to church, so the implication is I'm coming, even though so-and-so offended me, I need you to go to them before worship service starts and just go ahead and get that right, and then worship me. So let me tell you, if you walk away from church offended, you damage the gospel, you damage God's house. You come to church offended, you get it right, you move the gospel forward, and you glorify God's house. It's not a valid reason. Number 4, I attend churches that only fit my needs or appeal to my style or do what I like. Here's how that typically fleshes out. Well, you know, I go to this church at 9 because I like the music, and I go to this church at 11 because I like the teaching, and we go to this church in the afternoon because my kids really like the children's ministry. More times than not, the one that is stated the most, well, you know, I go down, I don't really get anything out of it, but my kids really like the children's ministry. Let me help y'all. Let me tell you who should not be making the spiritual decisions of your home. Next. Number 5. Number 5. Jesus. The church down the road is really growing. People make these decisions, leave the church they're in and go to the one down the road because that one's really growing. Let me help y'all understand something. All churches, every church on the face of the planet will plateau at some time. They're going to grow, level out, grow, level out. How long is the plateau going? I don't know. God will never allow his church to grow wider than it is deeper. Plateaus are meant to spiritually depthen his house so that the next growth can be handled. People leave churches when they feel like, oh, we're just kind of hanging out. What you don't understand is God is driving your spiritual roots deep so he can take you to your next level. So don't ever walk away from a church because another church is growing, because they're just in growth season, numerically. That's all it is. You need to stay connected to the house God placed you in, deepen your spiritual roots so that God will send the lost to your house. Nobody should ever celebrate over fish tank hopping. Church is the only organization on the planet that exists for the people that are not here yet. And just so you know, that's for the disconnected, lost, and unchurched. Not for your person who's connected to the church. You go, hey, why don't you leave that church and come down here because we're doing awesome stuff. They're saved. They need to plug into their church because God sent them there. Unless they fall under one of the reasons that you can leave. And I'm not really going to go into those today. Okay, so number 6. This is the most famous one in the Bible Belt. This is the one that's used all the time. We're going to kind of hang out here because I think this is the one that most people deal with. I don't need to go to church anymore. Born again, I'm saved, and I got offended over there, and I tried that church one time, and I tried that kind of church, and I did the Catholic, the non-denominational, Presbyterian, Lutheran, I did all that stuff, and you know what? None of that stuff worked. Actually, Jesus thing don't work. I just got a personal relationship with the Lord in my house. If I say dumb. Let me tell you why. Hebrews said this, let us hold fast to the confession of our hope without wavering, for he who promised is faithful. And let us consider how to stimulate one another to love and good deeds, not forsaking our own assembling together, as some are in the habit of, but encouraging one another, and all the more till you see the day draw near. What is he talking about? Oh, well, if the time's closer to Jesus coming back, you really need to make sure you stay connected to church because it's going to get worse and worse and worse and worse. Now, I've been to Africa a few times, and I've got to see lions kill stuff. Y'all know that, right? Lions are a killing machine. They say lions are only active 4 hours out of 24, but they work for 4 hours. If they worked 12 hours a day, there wouldn't be nothing left in Africa to see. They just eat it all. Okay, so pretty efficient killers. But here's the deal. All the animals that they hunt are what they call herd animals. Anybody know what a herd is? That's a bunch of animals together really tight. And they all eat at the same time, and they move over here, and they drink at the same time. And they all go over here. And what they do in the herd, amazing. In the gathering of the herd, they place all the weaker animals in the center. All the super young ones, they put in the center. Those who are wounded or hurt of some kind, they put them in the center. And all the stronger animals are on the outside, making sure that the weak animals stay where they're supposed to, and they're protected by the power of the herd. Well, lions walk around just waiting on one of the weaker ones to step right outside the ring of the herd. Now, I don't know if you know it or not, but 1 Peter says this, the devil is like a lion, walking around, seeking whom he may devour. And we don't think about it in this context, but I think because the time the Bible was written, that they actually could see herds and they could see lions. I think that's what the scripture means. Hey, you know how lions prowl around the herd just waiting on the little weak one to get on right on the outside? And let me tell you, I've seen this happen. I've watched it. What they do is they're off in the distance and they watch. And the young one or the hurt one steps out to get a drink of water over here. The herd's 10 yards, 20 yards, 30 yards over there drinking. But they think, oh, the water is a little bit better over here. The grass is green a little bit better over here. So I'm going to walk over here and I'm going to drink. Well, the lions then move in. And they don't kill it right there. The lioness walks up between it and the herd. What does that cause that one to do? Oh, I got to get over here. The lion's over there. When what it should have done is leap around and jump in the herd. But it goes further away. And it doesn't go far. It just goes far enough where the lions that are waiting on it over there kill it. The same is true in the church. The devil wants you to get offended. The devil wants you to believe it's too big. The devil wants you to believe some sort of lie. The famous lie is, well, I don't really need church anyway. And what he's done is he's separated you from the protection of the herd, and it will not be long before he destroys you. And you know what's sad? We all know this. That's not new information. Now, there may be some of you that never went to church, didn't grow up in church, and this is brand new information to you. Can I just tell you, you just got a gift because you left ignorance to super smart. Some of you have done some dumb stuff, just like I've done some dumb stuff. Walked away from a church for very dumb reasons. And the only reason you're back is because you got tired of getting chewed up. So do me a favor. Let's narrow the gap of dumbness and make a decision to stay connected, like Hebrews said, to God's herd, his house of his kids, where we come to encourage one another, spur one another on, and uplift one another. Now, why do people, if it's dumb, why do people do that? I believe with all my heart it's because they don't ask the right questions before they connect to the church. A lot of people go to a church and they connect to it because, ooh, it's big, I'm going. Ooh, it's got a pretty building, I'm going. Ooh, they're doing some cool stuff, I'm going. Ooh, they got awesome t-shirts, I'm going. Ooh, they got cool lights and smokes, I'm going. Ooh, I'm going. And they never ask any of the questions I'm about to give you. So if you're here and you're checking us out, I'm going to give you the 7 things you should ask as you're here to make a very wise decision if you should connect to this church. If you're here and you've been here for some time, I hope you've asked or at least found out the answers to these questions in some shape or form, because this is going to help you stay for the long haul. And the way you build a legacy, which is what we want to do, is you stay for the long haul. You don't leave over dumb stuff. So the first question you should ask, think about going to that church. Kind of like their building, I'm going to find some stuff out. Number 1, know what the expectation of partnership or ownership is. Some churches call it this, membership. Well, okay, if you're going to be a member of a church, what does that look like? What is their expectation? What is your expectation? Here we have 2 things you can do. It's called partnership. Everybody say partnership. And it's called ownership. Partnership. Expectation of partnership is extremely low. You can be a partner of Epic. I want to be a part of Epic, and you can be atheist, agnostic, not sure, I don't know what's going on in my life. You can be anywhere. Why? Because we want people to connect to God's house no matter where they are. Because here's the truth. If you're atheist, agnostic, don't know where you are, you partner with us, you get on a serving team, you start doing life with us, Jesus is about to jump off on you like some craziness. It's just a matter of time, and we know that, and we're cool with it. So you just keep on coming. It'll be awesome. You'll get saved a couple weeks. You go, no, I'm atheist. Well, we'll see. Okay, so it's just because we build that in. And then ownership, though, the expectation is a little bit higher for us and you. Ownership, you have to be a born-again believer and have been baptized. And there's a whole list of expectations of what that looks like to be an owner. We don't do membership here because membership is about a club and a fee you pay every month to be a part of it. This is not Club Jesus. Okay, this is God's house. And you should always want to be an owner of God's vision for God's house, to see that vision move forward. So we have partnership and ownership. If you want to know what is all the expectations, then join us at partnership and or ownership, and we'd be glad to tell you. Because our goal is for everybody to become an owner. That's our goal. The next one is, you need to know who makes the final decisions. Like, who's making all the decisions about what goes on here? Who makes the decision for the screens? Who makes the decision for that we do this, or we do this, or we go here? You need to go to some environment. For us, it's partnership and ownership. Discover who makes those decisions. I'll tell you this. Epic Church is a pastor-led church, and the office of pastor is held accountable by a board of elders. The board of elders hold the office of lead pastor accountable financially, morally, doctrinally, and theologically. What does that mean? That means if I get up here and teach something that's dumb, then they call me in and they correct that. They watch out. But listen, here's what's cool about eldership here. Eldership is probably one of the, other than lead pastor, is the weightiest spiritual office you can hold here, but it's also the most humble. We don't bring elders up here and go, here's all the elders, because they're not made for you to go to with your problems. The pastoral staff is. So the elders pray for the lead pastor office, hold my wife and I accountable to all those things, and they trust us to make the decisions that the bylaws free us up to make. If you want to know what those are, you can email us and we'll send you a copy of a document that's about that thick, and you can read all of it and have a nice life doing it. Okay, so I'm just kidding. It's about that thick. All right. The next one is this. Number 3, statement of faith. What does that mean? What does this church believe? Now, if you're here and you've never gone on our website and looked at that, then you're not taking serious your connection to the church. Oh, we all believe in Jesus. There's a lot of churches say they believe in Jesus, but they don't believe in the real one. Okay, so go online, go to beliefs, click it, and read what we believe about the Bible, sinfulness of man, Jesus, the Trinity. All of that stuff is in there. You need to know that before you connect. The next one, you need to know the vision. Why does this church even exist? We exist to see people experience life and live it to the fullest. We say that, then here's what you have to do. They say that, are they doing that? And then you make the decision to connect. The next one is this. How do I grow spiritually at this church? Do they just want me to come on Sunday, or is there some other thing? So if you're like a church person, here's what that is. How are they going to disciple me? Because the Bible says to go and make disciples. So when a person is born again in your church, you're to grow them to a place of maturity. How do we do that? Small groups. So if you're here and you're not in a small group, never have been, then chances are you don't feel like we care about you very much spiritually. You don't feel like you're growing very much. You feel like you're getting lost in the sea of people that come here. Can I just say this? That's not my fault. That's yours. Because we've said, here's your next step. Here's how you grow spiritually. Get connected to a small group. Get on a serving team, because there's a place you want to be. And they're studying the Bible with 10 to 12 people in a house, and it's awesome. That's how we do that here. We do small groups. The next one is this. This is the most important one. All of them are important, but if I was going to ask one, because I can tell a lot about a church based on this. If I was going to ask one question, here's what I would ask them. Where has the church been? Where is the church now? And where is the church going? You can tell a whole lot about any organization based on where it's been, where it's at, and where they say it's going. Okay? So we just thought we would take a journey and just real quick and tell you some places that we've been. How many people have been here 7 years or longer? Raise your hand. Awesome, awesome, awesome. There was a lot more in 9. So they're going to understand a lot of this. How many of you have been here for 5 years or less? Raise your hand. 5 years or less. Woo! Snap. Okay, y'all may not know some of this stuff, so it's very important that you know you need to know our history as a church. And I'm just going to give you some events, some things that God orchestrated that happened that caused us to be where we are today. The first one is we were at 801 Fretwell Avenue in a shotgun building. You may know what a shotgun building? Really, the first building was like from here to that wall, this many chairs, like straight back. I think we have a picture. There it is. Like, that's the 4 people in here that were there. Okay? The rest of y'all that's been here 5 years and under, you're like, what is that? That's where it all started. It was in a shotgun building with some T-shirt material stretched with a light on it. And let me tell you what we thought. We thought we was bad. Y'all ever look back in your high school picture and go, man, I thought I was the stuff, and then look at it and go, dang. All right, but no, I totally dig it. This is awesome. So here's what we had to make a decision to do. It was shotgun. You couldn't get very many people in it. And if you sat in the back, you felt very disconnected. So we thought it would be a good idea to flip the room. So 801 Fretwell Avenue turned into that. How many of you remember that? Okay. This started the growth season numerically of Epic, and we went to 6 services in this thing. Now, let me just go ahead and make a confession up here. That was dumb. Now, remember, dumb is knowing better and doing it anyway. I was told not to do that by people smarter than me, been doing ministry longer than me. Here's what I said. Oh, I can do it. Y'all watch this. About killed myself. Okay, so we went to 6 services, and there were some things that started to take place that caused us to grow. How many remember the 2011 tornadoes? All right, 2011 tornadoes hit, and the Epic Church was able to buy 34 trailers for people who lost their house. Now, here's what a lot of people don't know. A lot of people think, man, y'all had a whole lot of money. We had 0 money to do this when we decided to do this. Not a dime. Well, we might have had $1. Okay, so we actually, Benet, my wife, said, God just says we need to do this. We got to do something with the church. So she started on social media making phone calls, and I think we ended up raising $90-something thousand. $90-something thousand, bought 34 homes. Now, here's what the cool thing is. We didn't just buy them a house. We outfitted it, put clothes in it, put toys in it, put food in it, delivered it. We had teams that would hook it up to water and power. It was unbelievable. So that's one of the things that God used us to grow a bunch. And then we knew, okay, we cannot be in 6 services forever. We need a building. And then God spoke plainly to both Benet and I and said, well, if you want a building, if you want a house, I need you to give a house away. And so we decided that we would purchase a home for a single mom and their daughter, rework it, and give it away absolutely, completely free. And that's the home that we gave away. It's just on the other side of Decatur. It's a beautiful, beautiful house. Tons of people pitched in to make that happen. We actually wanted in by Christmas, and I think we started 3 weeks earlier, so it was it wasn't 3 weeks, but it felt like it. It was 24/7. So we gave away a house. As a result, God led us to the building that we are in. We bought the Carmike Cinema, which was a rat hole when we bought it. How many of you remember the first time we came in here and did a prayer service? Right there. So this is 3 movie theaters. We did a prayer service right there. And like we were praying somebody didn't get bit by something. We don't know what it is. Because it was dirty up in here. Okay, so a bunch of people volunteered. We did some amazing stuff. And then it is now turned into the building that you see today. God doing some amazing things. We moved in here and God opened up some doors. We said we'll never leave the city until we feel like we have a huge grasp on the city. God opened up some doors. We were able to go to Swaziland, Africa, and we went to a flat mound of dirt, and then we put up a school, a care point, a kitchen. We're also now in the process of building a church building behind here. Epic Church, you feed 400 kids twice a day. You've already given them 400 pairs of shoes. God's doing amazing things there. So that is a quick snapshot of where we've been and things that we've accomplished in just a few events. I mean, it would take me 3 days to go down over all the stuff that we've accomplished in the last 8 years to bring us to where we are right now. Where are we at currently? Well, just to give you some heads up, our average weekly attendance in 2008 was 150. Average weekly attendance in 2016 is 2,541 people attending Epic Church. The next one is very near and dear to my heart, which you just need to be really excited about. Next one, guys. Okay, since we've been here in 2008, 4,259 people have been saved in this church. And then we also, right now, decided to go into a movement called Step Up. Everybody say Step Up. Some of you know what this is, some of you don't. This is a movement that we decided to do. It's a 15-month movement. We're about halfway into it because it ends December 2016. And here's what we decided. We were just unapologetic about the reality that if we're going to reach the vision that God has given us, which is to see 12,000 people in Epic churches or campuses all around the Southeast, then we're going to have to be okay with bringing money into God's house. And all of you committed $974,578 to be brought here to God's house by December 2016. I just want you guys to know that thus far, you guys have already brought $193,000 of that $974,000. And I also want to tell you some things that we've been able to do as Step Up's been going on. Thus far, just in the time that Step Up started, which has only been a few months ago, we've baptized 247 people. We've seen We've seen 227 salvations. Now, before you clap, wait. This is not like, all of them are awesome, but we did the first student conference we've ever done here, and 44 high school, middle school students gave their life to Jesus in that 227. And to me, that's one of the most powerful ones. Overall attendance has gone up, that we're asking people to move from the 11 to the 9 or the 6, move from the 11 to the 9 or the 6, move from the 11 to the 9 or the 6, just so we don't have to go to 4 services too quick. We've assembled over $50,000 in equipment for the Athens campus that will open. If you want to hear some cool news about, the Athens campus, be here at 12:30 because we have hired a campus pastor. Just thought I'd throw that out there for you. All right, so as a result of our campus openings, we had to change to fiber optic and some other network upgrades, and we spent $25,000 on that. So that's some things that we were accomplished in Step Up. So that's where we've been. That's where we kind of are. Now, here's what I want you to understand. I want you to understand where we're going. Okay, because that's really important. Like, okay, so we've arrived. This is awesome. We've had 4,000 some people saved. This is cool. I kind of dig it here. No. We're not okay right here. There's somewhere God's taking us. There's something that's a God-sized vision that we're going to accomplish. Because Proverbs 29 says this, where there's no vision, the people are unrestrained. What does that mean? It means they do dumb stuff. That's what that verse coincides with the one that I start with. When you don't really know where you're going, then you do dumb stuff. You don't make wise decisions because you just think, well, this is it. I'm just going to kind of throw it to the wind and kind of hang out. No. There is something that God's called us to accomplish. The first one is we're going to see 12,000 people in Epic auditoriums by 2024. How is that going to work? 2016 is 2,500. 2024 is 12,000. And how we stair-step that in the middle. How does that happen? Well, we open campuses. And we're going to open campuses a bunch of places and go and reach 10% of the population. Next one. So Decatur, we want to run 5,500, Athens 21, Muscle Shoals 13, Corinth, Mississippi 14, and so on and so forth. And we have launch years there where we want to be and see those happen. We are kind of pretty much on schedule for those launch year dates. Don't hold us to those too difficult because, again, this will not happen because we have awesome organization. This will only happen when God's people partner with God and the Holy Spirit, and then it'll happen. So 5,500 in Decatur, usually know that's a big deal. All right? That's a really big deal. But it can be done because we want to reach 10% of the population. So we talk about 12,000 in 12 years, which is 2024, a whole lot. And we're headed that way. And let me just say this as a lead pastor. That's going to happen. The reason I know it's going to happen is because I went away and spent some time in prayer and said, okay, God, that's on the map to happen. You've showed us how that's organizationally going to happen. But what's beyond that? Now, if you're in here and you've ever prayed and asked God, what do you want to do? And it makes you pee your pants a little, that would be a clear sign it's Jesus. If you ask him and you come up with an idea that you feel you're pretty sure you can do on your own, that's not God. If the church ever prays and says, God, what do you want to use this church to do? It's going to be massive. Think about it. God created the world in 6 days. That you can't even wrap your mind around how big it is. He spoke, let there be light, and scientists say the universe is still growing at a rapid rate today. Anytime God does something, it blows your mind. It's bigger than you can imagine. So I know you're thinking, well, 12,000, we 2,500, that's pretty good. No. That's done in Jesus' name. That's going to happen because we believe in building a legacy. There are Quest kids that will sit where you are when we're all in glory praising Jesus. We're not doing this to watch it go away. We're doing this for it to last forever until Jesus comes home. So what I want you to understand is we also have a vision beyond 12,000, and it goes to this, 30,500. Now, there's about 3 people that was like, yeah, and the rest of y'all are like, what? Here's what you're thinking. That's dumb. No, that's God. Now, let me tell you why. We want to be able to bring what people call big church. I don't even know what that means, but there's a phrase out there. Let's do big church. Here's what big church really means in culture. Hey, let's do some cool stuff. Let's serve our community. Let's see people saved. Let's have lights and smoke and do some awesomeness. Well, a lot of people do that in communities that have 1 million to 3 million people, but very few people are trying to pull that off in communities that have, like 30 and 25,000 population. We feel like we're called to be the church that goes to those type of towns. Decatur, Athens, Muscle Shoals, Columbia, Tennessee, Jackson, Corinth, Oxford, Tupelo, Starkville, and Columbus. We already have the Athens camper in place. Here's what you don't know. We also have the Columbia, Tennessee campus pastor in place. It's happening. It's happening. The ones closest to us will be video. The ones out in southern Tennessee and East Mississippi will be live speakers. Because we believe in raising up leaders and pastors who can change a city. So like, if you're here and you're like, well, I can totally dig that, then welcome home. If you're not, if you're not, then let us help you find a church that you can sell out to, a vision that you can buy into. Because we've decided we're going to make it really hard to go to hell in the Southeast. Okay, so if you're here, what does that mean you do? I'm going to give you 7 quick things that I need you to do. I need you to do these. I need you to, number 1, serve. Everybody say serve. If you're not on the E team, I need you to get on the E team. Because typically you'll walk away from a church if you're not serving. Number 2, show up consistently. Number 3, invite people. Show up consistently to events and weekend services. Don't mean you got to be here 52 weeks out of the year, but just be here consistently. Number 4, host or teach a small group. Host or teach a small group. Here's what you're saying. Because you're going, man, you asked me to teach. That gives me kind of diarrhea. I don't know if I can teach the Bible. Look, I'm not saying you got to teach, but you can open up your home and let a teacher come to your home with a group of people. Give them a location. So either host and or teach. And then number 5, read your Bible. Listen, if you only get fed the Bible on Sunday, you're starving to death by Wednesday. Read the Bible. It will help every part of your life. Number 6, be kingdom-minded. What does that mean? Don't be selfishly minded. Don't be all about your little tiny kingdom. Think God's kingdom. Because if you do, 30,000 doesn't bother you. 12,000 is a speed bump on the way to 30,000. It's very easily done because you're kingdom-minded. And then number 7, step up and financially support the church that you call home. Okay? We just don't even apologize about that anymore. Because let me ask you a question. What's the price tag you're going to put on a human soul? Send me the email and let me know, what is the human soul monetarily worth to you? To God, he would say it's priceless. It meant so much to him that he sacrificed Jesus. So as his people, we have to come on the same way. So I thought I would end with this. I know I've jacked my booth up. They think I forgot it, and they're trying to figure out what to do. I actually didn't. I just thought I'd end with this one. Because you are super intelligent people, and you want to make super intelligent decisions. So if I'm telling you financially support the house that you come to, then should be your next question. Well, what you going to do with my dollar? If I'm going to give you my dollar, especially business-minded people, especially anybody that has to pay bills, right? How many of you got bills to pay? There should be everybody. Some of you didn't raise your hand. Please come see me. I want to know how to get where you are. All right. If you got bills to pay, here's what you want to do. Okay, I'm going to tithe, and I'm going to bring offerings, but you know what? I would just like to know what you do with every dollar that's given. I think that's a fair question. And you need to know at Epic, we're completely open about this. You can actually go online to our Give link, click it, and go look at a very detailed 2015 financial report. Now, if you're into numbers, you're going to dig this. If you're not into numbers, you're going to be like, what is all that? So, like, if you're somewhere in the middle or you're not into numbers, you're going to just listen to what I'm about to say. But if you're into numbers, just go online, download that thing, print it off, have yourself a ball highlighting stuff that's awesome, okay? Because it really is awesome. But just so you know, here's how the average mega church, what's a mega church? 2,000 and over, spends every dollar. Average, this is not us. This is average. 47% goes to personnel. What's that mean? That means salaries, insurance, retirement, all of that stuff. 13%, help me with the blue. Outreach. I'm a little colorblind. You would not want me to be your bomb guy. Is it blue or green? Okay, so, so 13% is outreach. 6% is other expenditures. You see the yellow? That's ministry expenses. That's kind of what they do in ministry there at their place. So that's not bad, or that's just the average. And the reason I tell you that is because I believe Epic is what I like to call above average. Okay? So here's what we look like. We're about 10% less on staffing or personnel. 36% of every dollar staffs this place. Now, 16% is outreach. What does that mean? That means foreign and domestic outreach. That's going to reach the lost, serving communities, serving the world, Africa. I mean, anywhere you can think of, that's 16%. And then if you look at the green 16%, that's what it takes. That's ministry expenses. That's what it takes here at this location to take somebody from front door to living life to the fullest. In curriculum, baby diapers, whatever you can think of and stuff you can't think of to make this place do what it does, that's 16%. So 36% staffing, 16% ministry expenses, 16% is outreach. There's two 11% on the left. You see those? Look at the one at the top that's either orange or brown, depending on what your eyes are telling you right now. That's what we like to call retained revenue. What does that mean? That's money you sit in, or you gave, or we collected that hasn't been used yet. Because we're being really strategic about where we put that money. What does that tell you? We're not living paycheck to paycheck as a church. We're being very strategic, putting money in savings, sending money out the walls, using money in the walls, helping people, and doing everything that we can do to see this God-sized vision move forward. That's how dollars are spent. Now, if you want to know what that looks like in detail, I'm talking about the actual number, then go online and download it. There's no hiding here. Because we want you to be informed to make a very wise decision. And we want to narrow the dumbness of life. And so what you're asking, well, when can I leave the church? Here's what I would say when you can leave the church. When you move. If you're moving to Alaska, you can't drive here. Fair enough? If I were to morally fail or preach something that is non-scriptural, probably want to hunt for another church. Or if you just come to a place where you go, you know what? I'm just not down with people not going to hell. I'm going to go somewhere else. Okay. Now you know one of those is done. The other two I'll give you, legitimately. But the rest of them probably fall in that 7. And all I'm asking is, how about let's build a legacy at Epic that changes the freaking world?